Hello friends, in the last session we have discussed a problem that is in respect of determination of in-quartic range or quartic deviation in respect of continuous series. Then we also started the third method, that is for the measurement of dispersion, and this is mean deviations, in which we have discussed a problem. This is in respect of determination of mean deviation for continuous series. Then we have started the fourth method, that is for measurement of dispersion, that is standard deviations, in which we have discussed so far how to determine standard deviation in respect of individual observation and discrete series. Now, in this part of the program, first of all I would like to discuss a problem which is based on determination of standard deviation by step deviation method in respect of continuous series. Then I will be taking up the variance and coefficient of variations. After that, I will be starting a fresh chapter, that is probability, in which I would like to discuss what is concept and definition of probability, what are different school of thoughts which are applicable in relation to probability. Then I will be starting how to calculate probability, in which I would like to discuss in this part of the program what are the terms used in this connection. Friends, first of all I would like to discuss a problem that is for determination of standard deviation in respect of continuous series. Now, any of the method applied for discrete series can be used. So far we have discussed methods which are applicable in relation to discrete series, that can be also used in respect of continuous series. But this is better that we should adopt step deviation method for calculating standard deviation in respect of continuous series, because with the help of this we can make the calculation easier. Now, what is the formula that is used in this connection? That is, standard deviation is equal to root of summation f d square divided by n minus bracket summation f d divided by n, then we have the square. After that we deduct this, we can say outcome from summation f d square divided by n, and we get the result, and this is to be, we can say, under rooted. Then we have to multiply by I. I is the difference of class interval, and d here means the difference of mid value and assumed mean, and that is divided by I. Now, we discuss a problem that is based on calculating standard deviation in respect of continuous series. Now, calculate mean and standard deviation of following frequency distribution of marks. So, in this question we have been given the marks obtained by the different students. The marks are 0 to 10. 5 students have obtained the marks which is ranging from 0 but less than 10, and 12 students have secured the marks which is from 10 to less than 20. So, we have been given information regarding number of marks obtained by the different students. Now, we should work out the problem. Now, first of all we have to arrange the marks obtained by the students, and these class intervals are given 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. So, these were the class intervals of the marks obtained by the different students. Now, first of all we have to calculate midpoint or mid value, that is calculated on the basis of aggregate of lower value plus upper value divided by 2. In this way we get 5. Then 10 plus 20 we get 30, and 30 divided by 2 we get 15. After that we have the total of 20 and 30, we get 50, and that is divided by 2 we get 25. So, this is the way in which we have to calculate first of all the mid value and midpoint. After that we have to find out the deviation. Deviation is calculated on the basis of mid value and assumed mean. Assumed mean in this problem is 35. So, first of all we have to find out the difference of mid value and assumed mean. Further, this is divided by 10. 10 is the I or step deviation, and 10 is calculated on the basis of the difference of class interval. So, first of all we have to find out the difference. Further, it is divided by 10, we get deviation. So, minus 3 is the first deviation of 0 to 10, minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2 and plus 3. Normally what happens in case of actual mean, the summation of deviation that comes to nil, but in this case since we have assumed 35 as mean, but in this case also we have calculated deviation that is equal to nil, maybe 35 is actual mean. After that we have to have the multiplication of deviations and frequency, that is 5 is multiplied by 3 we get 15, then 12 is multiplied by 2 we get 24. So, this is the way in which we have to calculate multiplication of frequency and deviations. Then we have to calculate f d square. Now, this is calculated in this way. First of all, we have to find out what is the we can say deviation. Deviation is squared, then it is multiplied by f, that is 5. So, in this way we get 45. After that, the square of 2 is 4 and 4 is multiplied by 12, we get 48. So, this is the way in which we have calculated f d square. Now, first of all, we have to find out what is the actual mean. The formula is in this connection is actual mean is equal to a plus a here means assumed mean plus summation f d divided by n is multiplied by I. Now, we substitute the values. 35 is regarded as assumed mean, 118 is the summation of f d and 200 is the number, and we divide 118 by 200 and further is multiplied by 10, we get 35 plus 5.9, that is 40.9. So, 40.9 in this problem is actual mean. Now, we calculate standard deviation. The formula in this connection is the under root of summation f d square divided by n minus summation f d divided by n, then we have the square and further is multiplied by I, then we get standard deviation. Now, we substitute the values. 510 is the f d square and that is divided by 200 minus 118 is divided by 200, then this is squared. Then whatever we get is deducted from the outcome of 510 divided by 200, then this is multiplied by 10, we get standard deviation. So, 2.55 minus 0.3481, whatever we get is further multiplied by 10, we get 1.4839 is multiplied by 10, we get 14.839. So, this is the standard deviation. Friends, we have discussed the problem in respect of determination of standard deviation by step deviation method in respect of continuous series. Now, I take up what is variance. Variance is a measure based on the standard deviation and is also known as second moment of dispersion. Now, so far as variance is concerned, this is considered as a square of standard deviation. So, unless we calculate standard deviation, we will not be able to find out what is variance. Now, variance is calculated by squaring the standard deviation. Now, what is the formula used in this connection is variance is equal to square of standard deviation, or sometimes if you are given variance, then we find the root of variance, this will be equal to standard deviation. Now, what is coefficient of variations? Now, standard deviation is divided by actual mean and further is multiplied by 100, we get coefficient of variations, or we can say that coefficient of variation is always measured in terms of percentage. Now, we discuss a problem which is based on determining variance and coefficient of variations. A sample of 5 items was taken from the output of factory. Length and weight of these 5 items are given below. By comparing the coefficient of variations of the two characteristics, state which one is more variable. Now, we are given two attributes, first is length in inches and second is weight in grams. Length in inches is 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Now, we have been taken the sample of 5. And what is the weight in grams? That is 9, 11, 14, 15 and 16. Now, we calculate what is coefficient of variations. Now, x length in inches, x is 3, 4, 6, 7, 10. Total number of sample is 5. But in this connection, first of all, I would like to calculate what is actual mean. Actual mean is calculated on the basis of 30 is divided by total samples, that is 5. So, we get 6 is the actual mean. Then we calculate deviations. So, minus 3 is the deviation for 3, minus 2, 0, plus 1 and plus 4. Now, in this connection, I would like to say that so far as the summation of deviation is concerned, that comes to nil because deviation has been acquired with the help of actual mean. Now, squares of deviations. Now, squares of 3 is 9, squares of 2 is 4 and plus 1 square is 1 and square of 4 is 16. In this way, we calculate summation of d square x, that is 30. In this way, we also calculate deviations for weight in grams, that is y, 9, 11, 14, 15 and 16, and we get deviations the same manner in which we have calculated in respect of x. Now, after that we have to square the deviations, we get 16 as the square of 4 and 4 the square of 2. So, in this way we have squared the divisions, and the summation of squares of division is 34. Now, what is the coefficient of variation of x? So, in order to calculate coefficient of variation of x, first of all you have to find out what is standard deviation of x. Now, this formula is used in this connection. Root of summation dx square divided by n is equal to root 30 divided by 5, we get 6, and under root of 6 is 2.4495. So, this is the standard deviation of x. Now, what is the coefficient of variations? Now, we have to apply this formula. Standard deviation is divided by actual mean and is further multiplied by 100. We get in this way 2.4495 is divided by 6 and is further multiplied by 100. We get the result in terms of percentage, and that comes to 40.825. In the same manner, we have to calculate coefficient variation of y. Now, first of all, we have to see what is the formula used in this connection. Standard deviation of y is equal to under root of summation d square y divided by n is equal to 34 divided by 5. Then we get the 6.8, but we have to get again the root of 6.8, that comes to 2.6077. Now, what is the coefficient of variations? Now, we have to divide standard deviation by actual mean of y and is further multiplied by 100. In this way, we calculate 2.6077 is divided by 13 and is multiplied by 100. In this way, we calculate 20.059. So, we can say that length is more variable as compared to the weight. So, dear friends, we have discussed what is variance and what is coefficient of variations. Now, I initiate a fresh chapter, that is probability. Uncertainty is an integral part of human life. Probability refers to estimation towards uncertain events. Probability always in reference to what is the event which is quite uncertain. In statistics, probability is not an emotional statement, but based on scientific reasons enables to measure the chances of happening or not happening the events. So, we can say in case of statistics, so in order to find out what is the probability of an event, whether it is going to happen, whether it is not going to happen, for this purpose we have to use some methods which are based on some scientific reasons. Now, we discuss what is the definition and concept of probability. The probability of a given event is an expression of likelihood or chance of occurrence of an event. Now, probability here means the possibility of occurrence of the event and possibility of non-occurrence of the event. Probability is a ratio or proportion which is expressed in terms of decimal or equation form. The probability of an impossible event is 0 because favorable conditions of its happening are nil. So, whenever we have to find out the circumstances, if they suggest that the happening of the particular event is nil, then definitely the possibility of occurrence of that particular event will be 0. But on the contrary, whereas the probability of fully certain event is 1 because all possible circumstances of its happening are favorable depending upon its concept of interpretations. So, whenever we have to find out what is the probability of occurrence of a particular event or not, we have to see the surrounding events which are responsible in respect of occurrence and non-occurrence of the event. Now, what are the school of thoughts which are applicable in respect of probability? The first is the classical approach. Now, this is the oldest and easiest approach and is pertaining to games of chances such as throwing of coins, dice and deck of cards. Now, so far as classical approach is concerned, this is applicable only in respect of games of chances. Now, how in this case we can calculate the probability of happening and probability of not happening of the particular event. Now, this can be we can say understood with the help of this example. From a bag containing 10 black and 20 white balls, a ball is drawn at random. What is the probability that it is black? Now, total number of ball in the bag is 20 plus 10, that comes to 30, and number of black ball is 10. Now, probability of getting a black ball, or we can say possibility of A, is number of favorable cases is divided by total number of equally likely cases, that is A is divided by n. So, we divide 10 by 30, we get 1/3, or we can say that in case of black ball, there is occurrence of drawing the black ball is equal to 1/3, because 1/3 is the total black ball of the total balls which are given, say the total of black and white balls. Now, what is the probability of not getting a black ball? So, Q is equal to 20 divided by 30, we get 2/3. Now, P plus Q is equal to 1/3 plus 2/3 is equal to 1. So, we can say 1/3 refers to happening of the event and 2/3 happens to not happening the event, but total probability is 1. Now, what is the second school of thought that is applicable in relation to probability? That is relative frequency approach or statistical approach. Now, this has been developed in 1800. British statisticians interested in a theoretical foundation for calculating risk of losses in life insurance and commercial insurance, or we can say this school of thought has been adopted so as to find out what is the possibility of losses in life insurance and commercial insurance. So, this is in relation to the policies issued by the insurance companies, and that begin defining probabilities from statistical data collected on birth and death. This approach is called relative frequency of occurrence. Now, this can be better understood with the help of this example. If a coin to toss 100 times, the probability of its lying with head upward may be 60. The relative frequency of the head will be 60 upon 100. So, we can say 0.6 is the probability of frequency of the head. Now, it is again tossed 100 times, the coin lies with head upward 45 times, then in relative frequency will be 60 plus 45 divided by 200, and that is equal to 105 is divided by 200, we get 0.525. And third school of thought is subjective approach to the probability. The subjective probability is defined as the probability assigned to an event by an individual based on whatever evidence is available. Now, whenever we have to see the probability of occurrence of a particular event, we have to study very closely all these surrounding we can say events and circumstances. On that basis, we can find out whether there is possibility of occurrence of that particular event or not. Now, in this connection, this example is very useful. If Professor X wants to find out the probability of Mr. Y topping in BCom honors examination of JNV University this year, he may assign a value between 0 and 1 according to his degree of belief for possible occurrence. So, in order to find out the possibility in this case, he has to assign the probability, we can say 0 to 1, and this is assigned on the basis of the surrounding circumstances. So, dear friends, we have discussed what are the school of thoughts which are applicable in respect of probability. Now, we switch over to discuss how to calculate a probability. Now, in this case, first of all, I would like to discuss the different terms used in this connection. The first is experiments and events. Without event, experiment is not possible. The experiment refers to describe an act which can be repeated under some given conditions. Now, there is random experiment. It means all the possible outcomes are known in advance and none of the outcome can be predicted with certainty. Now, whenever we talk of random experiment, then definitely there is possibility of occurrence of any event, and that is known in advance by a person who conduct random experiments. An event whose occurrence is inevitable when a certain experiment is performed is called a certain event. Or we can say whenever there is a possibility, there is certainty that a particular event is not going to happen, then definitely we can say that there is a possibility of occurrence of event is 100%. An event can never occur is called an impossible event. Whenever we explore the possibility of occurrence of possibility and we find that the event is not going to happen and that will never happen, that we can say that this event is not going to happen and it is regarded as impossible event. An event which may or may not occur while performing a certain random experiment is known as a random event. Now, in this case, this example is useful. In a toss of a balanced dice, the occurrence of any one of the number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now, second is mutually exclusive events. Two events are said to be mutually exclusive when both cannot happen simultaneously in a single trail, or we can say whenever we toss the coin, we cannot find simultaneously head and tail. Either we get head or we can get tail. Now, for example, if a single coin is tossed, either head can be up or tail can be up, but both cannot be up at the same time. So, possibility of A and B is equal to 0, because both cannot happen simultaneously. And third is independent and dependent events. Two or more events are said to be independent when the outcome of one does not affect and is not affected by the other. So, whenever we use this technique, definitely we know that whenever one event has taken place, then definitely that is not going to happen the possibility of occurrence of the second event, because both are quite independent. And dependent events are those in which the occurrence or non-occurrence of one event in any one trial affect the probability of the either event in the other trials. Or we can say that whenever the occurrence of one event depends on the occurrence of the second event, then definitely both are, we can say, mutually related, and they are regarded as dependent events. And next is simple and compound events. In case of simple events, we consider the probability of the happening or not happening of the single events. Now, this example is very useful. Finding out the probability of drawing a red ball from a bag containing 10 white and 6 red ball is simple event. In case of compound event, we consider the joint occurrence of two or more events. If two successive draw of 3 balls are made from the bag, we shall be finding out the probability of getting 3 white balls in the first row and 3 black balls in the second row. Now, this is regarded as compound events. And last is exhaustive events. Events are said to be exhaustive when their totality includes all the possible outcomes of a random experiment. For example, while tossing a dice, the possible outcome are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and hence the exhaustive number of cases is 6. If 2 dice are thrown once, the possible outcome are, or we can say when toss the dice 2 times, then definitely the possibility of getting the number either is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And what are the possibilities? And these are shown in this, we can say, diagram. 1 and 1 means when we toss the dice, either we get the 1 in both of the cases, or we can get 2 and 1, or we can get 3 and 1, or we can get 4 and 1. So, this is the possibility of getting if dice is we can say tossed 2 times. So, this is the possibility of getting the numbers. The sample space of the experiment is 36 order pairs. 6 is the square, or square of 6 is, that is 36. Hello friends, in this part of the program, we have discussed a problem which is based on determination of standard deviation in respect of continuous series, and for this purpose we have used step deviation method. After that, we also discussed what is variance and what is coefficient of variance. After that, we also started a fresh chapter, that is probability, in which we have discussed so far what is concept and definition of probability, and then we also discussed what are the school of thoughts which are applicable in relation to probability. Then we also started how to calculate probability, and in this connection we have discussed so far what are the techniques which are used in respect of calculating probability. Thank you.